Hello, and welcome back to another episode from the Debate Gate Sports Podcast. And today, in just a few hours, week one of the NFL season starts for our Chicago Bears. I got my Justin Fields jersey on. I am ready to go for us to take on the Rams and hopefully not get blown out. This is going to be a tough game. Today, I'm bringing you a week one preview of your Chicago Bears against the LA Rams, and it is going to be tough. I'm going to be honest. I don't have them winning this game. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I'm just going to go through kind of both of their teams, see what to expect in this game, and yeah, um, let's just get right into it. So, first things to look at are the headlines for this game, and new starting QBs for both teams jumped out initially. Dalton for the Bears and Stafford for the Rams. And let me just tell you, Stafford is significantly more talented than Andy Dalton will ever be. So there's a point for the Packers right there. Important to note that the Rams did beat the Bears 24-10 in 2020, and it should have been worse than that. It was a dominant victory for the Rams. Everybody knows how good the Rams' defense is, and especially their pass rush. So it's going to be a big test for this new offensive line for the Bears, which is already shorthanded now that Tevin Jenkins is going to be out for the majority of the season. Important to note for the run for both running games. Number one, it'll be interesting to look at to see if David Montgomery is really going to get the carries that he was promised by Matt Nagy. I felt like every single week last year he was going to get 30 carries from Montgomery, and it never really ended up happening. Maybe this is maybe this year's the year, and a great way to start tonight by giving a lot of carries for Montgomery now that you have a slightly better offensive line. As for the Rams, they lost Cam Akers, which means that now Darrell Henderson is going to be their starter. Cam Akers tore his ACL in practice or preseason, and so he's going to be out. So next man up for the Rams. So looking at the Rams offense, obviously they do have Matt Stafford, and I mentioned Darrell Henderson is going to be their starting running back. They have quite a bit of weapons, and that's going to be a very hard thing for the Bears since they're lacking a lot of cornerbacks. So having this wide receiver depth is a huge plus for the Rams, which is a lot of the reason why I have them winning this game. Got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson, who was breakout wide receiver last year. And they also have Tyler Higbee, who can be a receiving threat at times. The Rams' pass efficiency was 22nd last year, but mostly due to Jared Goff. Expect that to go up now that you have a much better quarterback under center. Their run efficiency was 22nd. Don't know how that's going to change. And the Rams, with McVay on offense, they run a ton of play action. They run that Shanahan offense. They had for Gurley. It's kind of gone away with less talented running backs. They haven't. I shouldn't say that it's gone away, but it hasn't been run as effectively now that they have guys like Henderson and Malcolm Brown, who were the running backs last year. But still expect to see a ton of play actions, maybe a little bit more vertical offense. So that's what Stafford was used to in that poor Detroit offense. But still, play action is the main thing that McVay is known for. And it's how he gets a lot of his receivers involved. The most common personnel, according to I can't even remember the name. It was like sharpstatistics.com. Thank you. Is 11 personnel or 12 personnel due to their great receivers. 11 personnel is one running back, one tight end, and 3 wide receivers, or is 1 running back and 2 tight ends due to their great receivers. So a lot of 2 or 3 wide receiver sets. They do shift to 2 tight end sets against bigger defenses to be more effective in the run. And like I have this written down, expect to see more 11 due to Stafford's ability and Cam Akers' injury. So I expect to see quite a bit more passing than running today. How Cam Akers' injury is really going to affect the team. Expect to see a lot more passing, especially for Stafford. More downfield throws than you would have seen last year. That can be expected since Stafford has a great arm. And it's proven in their 2020 passing and run splits. Last year, when Akers was out with injury or just out, the Rams' pass rate was up to 56% during weeks without him, and it was only a 49% overall. So significantly lower when you did have Akers. So it'll be interesting to see, will McVay hand the reins to Darrell Henderson and trust a less experienced running back, or really trust Stafford, who's experienced in his career but extremely new to this new offense because he's with a new team. Important to look that the Chicago defense has struggled against 11 personnel due to their lack of cornerbacks. They lost a few this offseason, so that means their cornerbacks are now Jalen Johnson, obviously, then Kindle Vildor and Duke Shelley are their three cornerbacks now. And you still do have Tishon Gibson and Eddie Jackson, but it's really losing guys like Kyle Fuller will hurt you in these type of games. So that's kind of it for the Rams scheme and what to look for on offense for the Rams. Obviously, their defense is going to be crazy good. You have the best defensive player in the NFL in Aaron Donald. Lot of great players on defense. You did lose John Johnson and Troy Hill. Nonetheless, you have Jalen Ramsey. Leonard Floyd was extremely productive last year. So, I mean, the Rams were first or second, like top three in pretty much every defensive statistical category in terms of like yards allowed, pass yards allowed, rush yards allowed, turnovers. They were top in all that. So an extremely effective passing defense and running defense, which will make this lackluster Bears offense really, really hard for them to get going, as we did see in 2020 when their offense looked really, really bad that game. So it'll be interesting to see what Andy Dalton will be able to do. Looking at some of the matchups to look for in this game, which is the biggest one being Chicago's lack of corner depth versus LA's wide receiver. Chicago has to do a good job in limiting this production from the LA wide receivers, specifically in the area of yards after the catch, because both Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league in yards after the catch, so catching the ball and the yards they get when they run with it. So that is huge. That is huge. Andy Dalton versus the Rams, looking at a cool stat, is he is 2-1 versus the Rams, and he has played good in both of those games. And the last one being Aaron Donald versus this rebuilding Bears offensive line, which is shorthanded now. Their offensive line tonight will be Jason Peters, which I'm not a fan of that, Cody Whitehair at left guard, Sam Mustipher at center, James Daniels at right guard, and Jermaine Ifedi at right tackle. A lot of these guys played last year, but were not good last year. So expect to see some improvement. Jason Peters is extremely old, but I don't think any of them will be able to handle Aaron Donald. That's for sure. So limit Aaron Donald. Let's just say that. And I already mentioned their defense, how explosive their defense is in both the run and the pass game. So what is my prediction? I've kind of bashed the Bears quite a bit in this matchup. And yes, I do have them losing. I think they're going to lose 28-13. I do think having Stafford will be a huge improvement for the Rams, and I think it's going to show tonight, especially since I am very high on the Rams wide receivers in this game. I think the Bears offense will do a little bit. I don't think we're going to see Justin Fields. I should have put this at the beginning of the video. We're not going to see Justin Fields tonight unless Dalton gets hurt. Maybe we'll see him in garbage time, but I don't think he's going to play any effective snaps. But nonetheless, I think their offense can muster a touchdown and maybe a couple of field goals. That's all I can really see them getting. And it is kind of a knock to them, but this Rams defense is just so good. It is a bad matchup for the Bears. I have them dropping their opener on Sunday Night Football 28-13. So yeah, that's my prediction for week one. Like I said, a tough matchup, very tough opening matchup in LA. But yeah, let me know down below what you thought of this video. If you want to see more of these each week, and what your thoughts are. Drop your score predictions in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.